Hi, my name is Jose Graciano.
Hi, I'm Anita, Graciano.
Well, in 2021, August 18th, I woke up. I was working in Greeley, Colorado. I went to location. I did my walk around the rig, and I noticed that I couldn't catch my breath. So I went and talked to the company man and told him that I needed to go get checked. He told me go ahead and let me know what happens. I got to the hospital and they checked my oxygen and it was at 71%. So they took me to the back right away and they put me on oxygen. After that, I called my wife, let her know what was happening. They checked me for COVID and I tested positive. And they explained to me what would happen if they had to intubate me. I told them I didn't want to do that because pretty much what they told me, that was the last resort, and people don't usually come back from that. So I called my wife and I told her, and I don't remember much after that.
I got the phone call. I got the first flight out that I could get out. And of course, they wouldn't let me see him. They wouldn't let me be with him. They wouldn't let me anything. And that's one of the hardest things when somebody that you love so much is in that situation and you can't be there with them. So they didn't let me see him for 24 days. I had to literally fight to see him. They ended up having to intubate him a weekend. He fought on a BiPAP for about a week and his oxygen tubing got kinked and he just did not come back from that. So they had to emergently intubate him at that point. He was like, just do whatever you have to do. He was so tired. And when I saw him on day 24, he was completely paralyzed and he did not look good, but I just wanted to hold his hand and know that if it was his time and God wanted to take him home, that I was right there with him and I just needed to know myself. And I knew that if God took him, it hurt like heck, but I'd be okay. A week after that, the doctor came in and said, there's nothing else we can do for him. You need to call your family and you need to tell him goodbye. His lungs are like cement blocks. We cannot get him off paralytic. And there's nothing else we can do. And so I just sat there and thank God for the 21 years at that time. It was 21 years that we had been married. And I thank God for the 21 years that he gave me with him. And I just said, God, just let your will be done. And so I called the family and they were all going to make their way. And I just went home and I was at peace with that. And the next morning I woke up. Usually I'm at the hospital by 8 o'clock. And I woke up and I just couldn't go. God told me that morning, he said, Anita, I'm not done with your husband. You have to keep fighting. And I was like, how am I going to tell the doctors that they're wrong? How am I going to fight science and medical? So they called me at 11:28 and they said, something's happened. He's been off the paralytic since 7 o'clock this morning. And I said, God, happened. A miracle happened.
I do remember waking up thinking I was still in Greeley and asking somebody where I was, and they told me, oh, you're in New Mexico, at UNM. From that point on, I remember the nurses coming in and they told me that I had to get up and walk and get strong because they were searching, they were trying to get me a set of lungs. So from that point on, they had me walking with the machine, doing laps around the ICU. And when the day came, they flew me out to Phoenix. And when I got there, I just felt this peace and I felt like I belonged there. And God started doing this work that he needed to do. And I was transplanted on 3/12/22. I got a new lease on life. I never gave up hope. There was at one point where I told God, if this is what you have for me, I don't want to be a burden to my family. Just take me. The day will come, when you find yourself in the middle of the storm, things seem impossible, and we seem to focus on the storm, and we lose focus of who God is, who Jesus is in our lives. We can't give up hope. there's always hope.
My hope through all of this was just believing and knowing that God's promises are real and they can happen. And you have to believe. Like I said, I don't know why, but I'm gonna take it, take the blessing and run with it. We don't know how long the lungs will last, but whatever God gives us, we're taking it.